Call the regular city council meeting Monday, January 14th, 2013 to order. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Putoff.
Here.
Mankiewicz.
Here.
Ferrari.
Here.
Waldorf.
Here.
Lukosius.
Here.
Perez.
Here.
Radke.
Here.
Mazak. Here. Mayor Harrell.
Here. Pledge of allegiance. Okay, Tim Travere's here from the Central States Tournament, wants to say a few words. So, Tim, could you come up here to the podium?
Like this? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for affording me the opportunity to speak to you tonight. My name is Tim Travere. I'm the Illinois 20 District Administrator. And in November of last year, I was informed by Little League International out in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, that Illinois District 20 was again awarded the Senior League Boys Central Region Tournament. I was wondering did you get the letter that we sent out? Did everybody get the letter that we sent out recently?
Yes.
Okay. I am again here to ask the city approve for your generosity, $2,500 that you gave us last year, and then I got a couple more requests. So those are pretty easy. So I was just asking for the $2,500 first. So the other two requests I have is that we do have and might as well get them out of the way now, that the trailer that we parked there at the city park, the Phelan Steel trailer, that we use to house all our equipment. I was wondering if we could park it there again this year, and also I did have a motorhome parked there for an elderly member of my staff, so I could kind of put him in there during inclement weather and things like that. So thanks. I mean, you guys have been really great to us, and I really do appreciate that. So I hope we can still continue to have a working relationship, a good one like we do.
And that is August 2nd this summer?
Yes,
I
sir.
believe it was August 2nd through like the 8th or something like that, where we'll be bringing in roughly how many people to Peru and Oglesby?
Well, we had teams from 10 states last year, so I guessing a couple thousand.
Right. It's a very nice event, and hopefully people take a part of it.
Okay.
Tim, thanks. And
thank you, Jim.
Don,
Ladies,
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Okay. Public comment. We have a card here for the first public comment session. Rick Humphreys of Affordable Waste. Rick?
Mayor, Council, Rick Humphrey with Affordable Waste. Last Friday, we had asked that a letter that I put together go into your packet concerning the waste vote that's going to happen on later this evening for the removal for the residents over the next 5 years potentially. I hope you all had an opportunity to review that document. It is not our intent here to create a questionable atmosphere concerning the process, but more of a concern that Illinois Valley has been afforded advantageous opportunities in securing their pricing once all the prices were exposed. I would not be doing this, or our company, I should say, any due diligence if I did not raise these concerns. We know it's in everybody's best interest when the competitive bid process works, and ultimately the best pricing for the services received are submitted. For that to happen, everyone has to submit in an apples-to-apples situation. 3 bidders did in this case, while Illinois Valley did not. In our letter Friday, we ended with an option for your consideration. We ask that, due to the indifferences, you consider our offer to extend our existing contract, which the current contract allows, at the monthly rate of $12 per month, which we would hold for 2 years. This would include all the services you currently receive, along with the yard waste removal option that you folks have asked for. Again, that option would allow the city to experiment for 2 years in an extension situation, whether this is something the city wants to explore long term or not. The citizens then would have their pricing locked in for 2 years while keeping the same familiar service they are accustomed to having at the lowest cost offered. As with the sticker program, we would allow the city to retain all the revenues generated from the yard waste bag sales, which last year was approximately $30,000, or roughly 58 cents per home per month. So if you deduct that off the 12 cents, our total or $12, excuse me, our total monthly cost would be in the range of $11.48 or $11.42. I'm sorry, for the first 2 years of the service with providing the yard waste option. We understand that cost savings most of the time are the driving factor in deciding these situations. If everyone had bid all the same, we'd be here graciously thanking you for the past 5 years of your business. But instead, we are here asking with all sincerity the opportunity for the council to do the right thing while still providing first-class service at a competitive price. Thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions at this point in time if you have any for me.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Humphries? Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm asking for a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of December 26, 2012 and January 9, 2013.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
Been a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Waldorf to receive the regular meeting minutes of December 26, 2012 and January 9, 2013 and place on file. Is there any discussion? Not all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. We have a motion to receive the building permits fourth quarter report 2012 and the building permits annual report 2012 and place on file.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
Been a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Lukosius to receive the building permits fourth quarter report 2012 and the building permits annual report 2012 and place on file. Is there any discussion? Not all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Committee reports, Counts and Finance, Alderman Putoff, Alderman Radke.
First item of business, Council, the disbursements for January 16th of the year 2013. I'd like to make a motion to present these disbursements for $633 or $633,880.24. Make a motion these be placed on file and the bills paid in the usual manner.
Been a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke to receive the disbursements for January 16th, 2013, the bills paid in the usual manner. Is there any discussion? If not, we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Inkiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak. Aye.
Motion approved.
Another item, Your Honor, I'd like to tonight make a motion to authorize a $1,000 donation for the Ivy Rotters Car Club sales. And where that has gone in the past is their profits have gone to benefit the city of Peru, and that $1,000 is used for advertising and prices. In the past, the city of Peru has gotten more than double that amount of donation, and this year it's going to the CSO to provide the city with Christmas decorations and also funds for the city of Peru's 200th celebration. So that is a motion, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke to authorize a $1,000 donation to the Ivy Rotters Car Club. Is there any discussion? When is it this year, Don? August 18th at the Centennial. Okay, if there's no further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Inkiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak. Aye.
Motion approved.
Your Honor, also tonight I'd like to make a motion to authorize a sponsorship of $2,500 to the Central States Senior League Baseball Regional District 20 tournament. Again, we were informed tonight of the tournament being held or shared with the city of Oglesby. This year the opening ceremonies are at Peru. It does bring in a lot of revenue to our city, fills our hotels, and also a lot of fun for the residents. So I'd like to make that motion tonight.
Second.
Been a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke to authorize a $2,500 sponsorship to Central States Senior Baseball Regional District 20 tournament. Is there any discussion?
Is that right? The opening ceremonies are Peru, or?
Yeah. That's been flipping back and forth every year. Very fair way, thank you. Doing a lot of work, Tim. Stepping up to the plate, Tim, on this one, and Don. Thank you very much. Okay, if there's no further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Mankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak. Aye.
Motion approved.
Your Honor, also on the agenda tonight is a motion to award the city's refuse and recycling contract to Illinois Valley Waste Services with a year one base rate of $10.98 per household. I wanted to add a few things to the City Council. That would be savings of over $5,000 a year to what we currently have, over $60,000 or $5,000 per month, $60,000 per year, and $250,000 over a 5-year period. Some of the questions in the past is, what is the CPI index? And again, just share this with the council. It's a choice of the council. Either we go with the CPI index, which the company has used, and basically it's the consumer price index for the Chicago and urban areas. Out of that consumer price index, about less than 1% is a fuel cost. So that's been somewhat favorable if you're in a fuel industry. The average of the CPI increase over the course of 10 years has been from a negative 0.4% to the greatest amount of 3.8%. I think to make the City Council a little more comfortable and hoping that the economy does increase a little bit and our consumer price index probably will raise, it would be comfortable to take the average of 2.5% for that period. If you take the 2.5% over a 5-year basis, your year 5 the contract for both waste hauling and recycling is $12.10. So either way you look at it, it's a very favorable amount. Again, I wanted to clarify that the tags remain in control of the City of Peru, and the contract was bidded to the current specifications that we currently have. And again, we were asking for proposals as far as the waste hauling was. The other issue that we had considered, and we had no specifications for that was an option to set some guidelines of yard waste at a later time. Again, I believe it's probably in the best interest of the city to have a little more discussion as far as the yard waste, and that would be with the Public Works Committee. There was some council members that wanted to see the direct savings with the contract service in a reduction of staff as far as the yard waste, and other council members wanted to see the staff allocated to other city projects. So that was really kind of the reasons where the yard waste will not be in this particular proposal. So tonight I'd like to make a motion to award the city's refuse and recycling contract for a 5-year contract to Illinois Valley Waste Services with the 1-year base rate of $10.98.
I'll second that.
Been a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke, to award the city refuse and recycling 5-year contract to Illinois Valley Waste Service with a 1-year base rate of $10.98 per household. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I have a question for corporate counsel. We all received a letter from Affordable, and of course, we saw that Affordable feels that there was some unfairness, and I'm sure you've had a chance to review everything. According to your experience in reviewing everything, was the bidding process done according to the fair bidding process guidelines in our city ordinance?
I was not involved in the preparation of the specs nor the receiving of the bids, Alderman. I will say, though, there's a Red Lion, I believe, versus City of Mattoon case a number of years ago that actually a scavenger contract's not even necessarily subject to the bidding process.
Yeah, and I understand
So
that.
you wouldn't have to in the first instance, but to answer your other question, I wasn't asked to review
Well, you
everything
received a
else.
letter from
Yes,
Affordable,
I
correct?
did. Yes, I did.
So by looking over everything with that, I just want to be sure that the bidding process was done fairly according to, anything over $20,000, of course, we have to bid. And I just want to be sure that...
No,
it was done.
that's a point I was making.
Fair.
I don't believe you
Right.
have to with respect to a scavenger contract. Nonetheless, just in my packet that I saw the spreadsheet on the comparison of the bids, as Alderman Putoff pointed out, it's a significant difference, apparently.
Okay, to make clear then, with the Finance Committee, as far as everything that you reviewed, everything was done fairly and according to the process, correct?
It was done on a proposal basis. The specifications that everybody had were the exact specifications that we currently use.
Thank you.
Now, I assume this is still going to be subject to having the exact same contract that we have now, so that would be the motion to entertain
Really what we're doing.
authorizing a contract that'll be the same contract that you have with your existing scavenger.
In-
need you to drop a contract and present it to Illinois Valley Waste, and then we'll have to vote on that contract at a later time.
So it'll be identical contract, just a different price.
That's my understanding, is
At this
the way
time,
the
right.
proposals went out.
And we do have the option at a later date to look at as far as yard waste. And that certainly would be up to the Public Works to determine how much, when, where, and what.
Okay, we can add to this motion and authorize corporate counsel to drop contract. All right?
Yeah, 5-year contract, Your Honor.
I'd also like to make clear that Affordable Waste has done a good job for our community and has done great service for the citizens of Peru, and appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, and certainly that was, very relevant to everybody that we had spoke to, that the company has done a good job, but we very well could not leave the amount of money on the table, and that is a savings, a tremendous savings for the city of Peru, and again, it keeps our residents at a consistent rate, where, of course, if you've got a service that's charging a higher rate, we would have to raise the residential rate. So it is a very good deal for the residents of Peru.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Now we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Mankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak. Aye.
Motion approved.
One additional item, Your Honor, the city audit review will be at 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday, January 23rd. That'll be held prior to the Finance Committee meeting. And again, we'll hold that at City Hall. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to Public Works. Alderman Waldorf, Alderman Lukosius.
Yes, Your Honor. Tonight I'd like to make a motion to authorize the Electric Department Foreman Jim Putoff to prepare bid specifications for replacement of the 60-foot bucket truck.
Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Lukosius, second by Alderman Waldorf, to authorize Electric Department Supervisor Jim Putoff to prepare bid specifications for replacement of a 60-foot bucket truck. Is there any discussion? Not, we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Mankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke. Mazak. Aye.
Motion approved.
Your Honor, I have the City of Peru Water and Wastewater Treatment Plants report for November 2012. In our water treatment plant, the total water we produced was 65.7 million gallons. At our wastewater treatment plants, at the East plant, we treated 49.1 million gallons, and at our West plant, we treated 28.9 million gallons. I would like to accept this report and place it on file, please.
Second that.
Then a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Lukosius, to receive the water and wastewater treatment plant report for November 2012 and place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
I would also like to announce that there will be a Water and Sewer Committee meeting on February 11th at 10 a.m. here at City Hall. It's an open meeting. Everyone is welcome to attend. Also for the aldermen, I'm looking for your wish lists for the streets and curbs programs. So if you could get those to me as soon as possible so we can get the engineering started. As you remember, we got a very favorable bid last year by getting those in as early as possible. So if we could do that. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay, Public Health and Safety, Alderman Ferrari, Alderman Perez.
Yes, Your Honor. I have the approved fire department report for pay period ending December 22nd, 2012. The approved fire department responded to a total of 14 fire calls for this pay period. There were also 2 of 2 monthly trainings included in this report, making this pay period total 16. Along with this report were 2 mutual aid calls and 2 calls which resulted in a total of 24.25 hours of overtime. Total payroll for this pay period ending December 22nd is $4,555.56. Total invoices sent out is $2,562.93. I'd like to make a motion we receive this report and place it on file.
Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Perez, second by Alderman Ferrari, to receive the approved fire department report for period ending December 22nd, 2012, and place on file. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Your Honor, I also have the approved fire department report for pay period ending January 5th, 2013. The approved fire department responded to a total of 11 fire calls for this pay period. There was also one makeup training included in this report, making this pay period total 12. Total payroll for period ending January 5th, 2013 is $3,268.85. Total invoices sent out was $847.73. I'd like to make a motion we accept this report and place it on file.
Second, Your Honor.
Been a motion by Alderman Perez, second by Alderman Ferrari, to receive the approved fire department report for period ending January 5th, 2013, and place on file. Is there any discussion? Not all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Your Honor, I have the Safety Committee meeting minutes dated December 5th, 2012, and January 9th, 2013. In these minutes, I'd like to point out our electric department has reached nearly 700 days without a lost time recordable injury, and that's very commendable for the amount of climbing and hazards linked to their daily duties. So I'd like to congratulate them for that. I'd like to make a motion we receive these minutes and place them on file.
Second, Your Honor.
Been a motion by Alderman Perez, second by Alderman Ferrari, to receive the Safety Committee minutes of December 5th, 2012, and January 9th, 2013, and place on file. Is there any discussion? Not all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Under Police, Your Honor, I'd just like to commend the Peru Police Department on their action. It was in the paper today about the drug bust over the weekend. You want to add anything to it, Chief? Or?
Well, thank you very much, and as you might have noticed in the paper, and I sent out to everybody, it was just 2 years ago this week that I came to the City Council and the Mayor and asked for the resources to form our own in-house drug unit. That's been very productive and very good, I think, for the City of Peru that we have the resources to focus here locally on the drug trade. We've been very successful, and I think when you arrest 147 people in 2 years, we're sending a very loud message that if you're going to deal drugs, you don't do it in Peru, and so we're very, very happy with the results. We've also seized nearly $750,000 in currency and other assets such as vehicles and whatnot. We're able to take that proceeds and turn it back into the police department to fight the drug problem. So it's been a very successful program. We embarked on that 2 years ago, and yesterday started our 3rd year, and we had a very significant arrest. I believe the bond was set at $1 million in that particular case, so that was a very significant thing. And everybody down at the police department, not just the drug unit, but all the officers involved in patrol are working with the drug people, and really it's a team effort, and it's we're, I think, becoming a model for drug enforcement, quite frankly. So I'm very proud of everybody down there and all the work.
Great job, Chief.
And very appreciative to all of you for supporting us, giving us the resources to do that.
Great job. I have a question. Like sex offenders, they can't go so many feet in front of a school or reside anywhere near a school. Is there anything that applies the same with convicted drug dealers?
No, the laws when it comes to that is there's definitely enhanced penalties if you do that within so many feet of a public park, so many feet of a school, that sort of thing. So there's definitely significant penalties to deal drugs in the proximity to those places. But there's currently no law that prohibits where people can live.
Thank you. I have one other thing. I received a call this evening regarding semis going down 251 with their Jake brakes. And of course, Jake brakes, you're not really needed unless you're going down hills or down grades. Would it be possible to place no Jake brake signs on 251, like along Shooting Park Road and all the way up the residential area?
Well, we can't refer to them as Jake brakes.
Engine brakes.
Yeah.
I'm a trucker, so.
Yeah, I know that, but the trucking industry doesn't like that term, apparently. There's is now very strict regulations where you can post signs and what the signs say. I'll defer to Gary, but I believe he would have to contact IDOT, and IDOT would, I think, be willing to put up the signs along the state highway. I don't want to speak for them, but I think that your office would have to make the request to IDOT and maybe even suggest the various locations. You know, Route 6 entering the city as well as 251 on both directions would be my recommendation to do that. So, Gary, could you reach out to those folks?
Yeah, I'll call them tomorrow.
Great, thank you. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Alderman Ferrari?
No,
Public Property Committee, Alderman Mankiewicz, Alderman Mazak.
We've got the Prue Recreation Report funding period ending December 31st of 2012. Total funds available was $30,758.50. Respectfully submitted by Dave Bartley, City Clerk. Make a motion to receive the report and place it on file.
Second.
Been a motion by Alderman Mankiewicz, second by Alderman Mazak to receive the Prue Recreation Fund cash account summary for December 2012 and place on file. Is there any discussion? Not all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
And I have the Peru Public Library cash account summary for the period ending December 31st, 2012. The total in all three accounts is $374,869.22. I'd like to make a motion that this report be received and placed on file.
Second.
Been a motion by Alderman Mazak, second by Alderman Mankiewicz to receive the Peru Public Library cash account summary for December 2012 and place on file. Is there any discussion? Not all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to award the bid for the swimming pool demolition to the lowest bidder, John Pohar and Son, for a total bid of $26,268.
Second.
Have a motion by Alderman Mankiewicz, second by Alderman Mazak to award the bid for the swimming pool demolition to the lowest bidder, John Pohart and Sons, in the amount of $26,268. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Your Honor, I would just like to, I think it's important that the public knows that we've had $50,000 budgeted for the swimming pool demolition, and with this $26,268, with previous asbestos work that we've done already and some of the other work that we've done, it's going to most likely meet that $50,000, if not exceed it a little bit, correct? Okay. Thank you.
Any further comments? Not, we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Mankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Also, Your Honor, I'd like to table the motion to award the bid for the 213 fireworks display and send it back to the Rec Committee for further discussion. I've gotten the most current data, and I'd like to have them relook at
it. Was the...
How can there be more data? We got the bids.
I got the bids, yeah, and last year's bids were twice, from them, twice the amount of what we got this year. And I find that hard to believe that they cut the bid in half. And still, if you only count the big shells, they won. And if you count the small shells and the total package, they didn't, as far as shell count goes. I'd like the committee to look at it and see. I don't know that we're going to have a sound team in there. I don't know if we're going to have just an aerial show. I just want it looked at.
The Rec Board
Recommended
made
it
the
unanimously.
recommendation to go
Yes.
with Extreme. And I don't think we should table it again. We have all the information we need. Melrose came up with over 20,000 more shots this year.
Yes, it did.
And from last year's bid. And
There was a lot of unnecessary pressure, I feel, put on the Rec Board. Okay, that's what I felt. And I just want to table and let them, okay, I certainly approve of that. You can disagree.
Did the rec committee have a vote and approve it?
Yes,
It was unanimous.
So we're gonna table it, or is there gonna be a motion in a second?
I'll second it. Might as well see what everybody wants to do.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Kavich, second by Alderman Waldorf, to table the motion to award the 2013 fireworks display to Extreme Pyrotechnics in the amount of $20,000. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, I would just like to say that pickleball was a big issue, and we all went with what the rec board wanted for pickleball. So how can we not go with what the rec board wants for the fireworks?
We have a motion on the floor, Alderman Mazak, and a second, so we'll vote on it.
What was the motion to
The
table?
motion was to table the award for the 2013 fireworks display to Extreme Pyrotechnics.
It's just my opinion, the amount of money is the same. So it's basically a difference on the height of the fireworks. And if the rec commission has been involved in it on a weekly basis, we certainly have to accept the recommendations of the recreation commission.
Okay, we can either vote on what we have right now, or you can withdraw your motion. Not going to withdraw the motion? Okay, we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Nay.
Mankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Nay.
Waldorf.
Nay.
Lukosius.
Nay.
Perez.
Nay.
Radke.
Nay.
Mazak.
Nay.
Okay, the motion did not pass. Correct? There was
That's
one
correct.
aye. Okay,
I'll make a motion
No.
then to award the bid for the 2013 fireworks to Extreme Pyrotechnics, if that's what the council wants, in the amount of $20,000.
Second.
okay, now we have a motion to award the bid for the 2013 fireworks display to Extreme Pyrotechnics in the amount of $20,000. Is there any further discussion? Not have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Mankiewicz.
Nay.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Anything else, Alderman Mazak? That's all, Your Honor.
Okay, reports of city attorney. This isn't your ordinance, though, correct?
No, sir.
Okay, I think we've heard that there's something different that's happened here. Liberty has said that they will take over the funds. Is that correct, Chief King?
Yeah, well, we had a vote tonight, and it went all right. Robbie's here, he's gonna talk about it, but we were gonna wait to see. I thought you guys were gonna vote just on an ordinance. I didn't know how we were gonna do this.
Well, we need to have it out there that Liberty is the fundraising arm of the Peru Fire Department, basically. Liberty, the problem has been the oversight in the disbursements of the funds coming in and the funds going out. That's been the problem all along. It doesn't happen anywhere else in government, and we needed to put that in order. So the best way to do it is for Liberty to because last week we heard about, we don't know what check goes where. You know, checks come in, we don't know if it's for Liberty or we don't know if it's for Operation Promise. So the best way to do it, I feel, and if everybody agrees, is to let all the funds go to Liberty. Liberty can make their budget. We'll still have Operation Promise. It's a wonderful program, and the city supports it 100%. We just needed to do something different with the funds. So what do you have, Robbie? Okay. To me, that was good news, so we don't really have
I'd
anything
like to discuss a little bit further, though, Your Honor.
Okay.
We had tried this back in 2009 when we first started Operation Promise, and of course, we did have funds going in there, and I appreciate you going in and asking for a vote. It's kind of it's funny that there's a consensus, because I've heard from members of Liberty over the past week that being that they're volunteer and this is going to be extra work on them, and they really didn't support it 100%. So, of course, if you had a meeting tonight, I appreciate that, and if you say you had a consensus, then there was a consensus. The thing is that there were many issues. I'm not a member of Liberty Fire Company, and for the city to recommend that it should be transferred over to Liberty Fire Company when this is an event that's through the community, it's through the approved fire department, and I am the one that organized it, I'm the one that founded it, and there's hundreds of hours involved in it. In fact, it's not until 2014 when the next community event is, but we've already started working on it. And there are hundreds of hours involved. And for there to be any kind of issues and problems like there have been in the past, and I'm not pointing any fingers at who, but it worked out so much easier and so much smoother when the city of Peru managed it. Now, the city of Peru currently takes in donations for other, organizations like IVAR and CSO. They've had the Celebration Fund and, some others, Friends for Pool. There's no difference. As a matter of fact, the big difference is, come to think of it, is Operation Promise is through the Peru Fire Department, a city entity, where the Friends for Peru Pool and IVAR and CSO is not. So, it's aldermen, there are a few aldermen on the panel here that have not ever seen Operation Promise, don't have a clue of what it is or what it consists of. And, for the mayor to say that this is going to continue on, that's not the case. Because, we could easily say it will, but for the amount of time involved in it, if it's not going to go smooth and things, of course, we're going to have glitches here and there, but if the city's not going to continue to manage the books, then operation is going to discontinue. And unless Rob feels that Liberty Fire Company or the chief feels that Operation Promise can go on, then, let it go forward. But, as far as it being in my control and my organization, it's going to be too difficult for it to go to Liberty or anywhere else. So that's where we stand with it. So I would like to still see it go to a vote. If the council doesn't want to do it, then the program's going to discontinue.
I don't understand how that, they just voted unanimously to support the program, so I don't understand the comment that it's going to discontinue. They just voted to continue it.
There's no difference between Liberty Fire Company, which is not a city entity, or me finding another 501c3 anywhere else and asking them to do it. For the city to say, or the Peru Fire Department to say Liberty Fire Company is going to take it over is wrong, because it's not the way there are issues. And Chief, don't mean to put you in the middle of it, but we've had problems in the past with Liberty handling it, correct? When it was under that arm, there was issues.
The issues are the checks. What we're looking at when they come in is making sure if this goes forward and Liberty's going to do it, we got to have the checks wrote out to either Operation Promise or something like that, because we do get a lot of checks in, and that's one of the biggest problems we had there.
I have a question. Do you have a committee?
No, there's no committee. It's the Peru Fire Department. That's our, it's...
as far as what kind of oversight do we have?
The chief, myself, and...
Chief, do you sign checks when there needs to be...
Any bills that come out when it was in the budget would come through me.
Do you sign the checks?
No, I don't sign any checks.
Are there two signatures on the checks?
No, I don't have anything to do with the checks.
Yeah,
my only concern is that our auditors have said that these things are a problem, and I know they also said that they're in everybody's city accounting, and they shouldn't be. And the only thing that I'd like to see is I'd just like to see some oversight. I don't care whether Liberty does it or the city does it, but there has to be some oversight. So if you had a committee and had somebody that can sign off on checks and things other than just by yourself, I think, you know,
And-
it may work.
That would be the chief, and it would be, maybe the assistant chief. But, like I said, it's not a outside organization, it's the Peru Fire Department. And for that to be pushed out of the city and out of the, hands of the public education officer, which is, I'm the one that handles it, it's not right. And, I don't want to see it go anywhere else. It's fine the way it's working, there have been no glitches, and it's worked out smoothly. And, you know, in the past, the last two events, Mr. Ankiewicz, I mean, you're the president of Liberty. Don't mean to put you on the spot, but, you know, you've came to talk about the issue and the concern. What have you done to, like, help out Operation Promise over the last, since 2009? Right. And I understand, it's difficult, you know, and it's, right. And when we're dealing with volunteers from Liberty and the Peru Fire Department, it's hard to get help, correct? It's hard to get the assistance. And so if I'm having to do this program by myself with the minimum amount of assistance from Liberty or the Fire Department, which they can help out as much as they can, but everybody works. They have full-time jobs. We do sign-up sheets. We get as many people as we can, but that's not enough. So why not if it's a good program and the city wants to support it, I want to go forward with the vote. And, you know, it's my last option. And if the city doesn't want to do it, then the city doesn't want to do it. But there will be checks and balances and going forward. And we have an ordinance already drafted. Clerk Bartley drafted an ordinance that we have in front of us, and all we have to do is vote on it.
Didn't the city handle it for the last event?
Yes,
And there were checks and balances and everything went well?
Yes. The city's been handling this for the past 2 years.
I want to make, you know, we did ask our auditors about these things, and they said unequivocally, you should not be doing these things, and that's why we're having this discussion. It has nothing to do with Operation Promise. I don't understand who's been doing all the work previous to this. Why can't those same people do the work? I mean, I don't understand. It seems to me that whoever handles from the perspective of the program, whoever handles the bookkeeping, it should be transparent to the program. I don't understand the concept or the constraint with Liberty. Liberty doesn't need to do any work other than handle the bookkeeping. The same people who are doing all the work can continue to do the work.
And, you know, a correction, the city did not manage the funds in the past. What they basically did was issue checks. There was no oversight into who the vendors were. There was no oversight into who was taking checks or who was taking cash. And that's fine in working with your own group, but once you go through the city of Peru, then we are all at stake and we are all at a liability. So that's what we meant by checks and balances, and we've talked about this over the course of the last year, that the best situation to have is to set up your own non-for-profit or to set up a group that would oversee and take in the funds, issue the vendors, and issue the checks. As you said before, there's thousands of dollars coming through that. And it's a great responsibility and reflects on us when you have just one person managing those. So that's the idea. I think we all agree Operation Promise is a very good program, and any program that highlights the problems with alcohol or drugs in our community is a great program to have. But we are just looking at what's the best practices for the city. That's all.
That's fine. We have an ordinance. Clerk Bartley drafted it, and I would like to vote on it.
And I'd just like to say, too, the Friends for Peru pool is exactly the same. Any expenditures that they want to make, they go to the Public Property Committee, and it has to be approved by the Public Property Committee. But they're allowed to, they take money, and then they come and present it to the clerk, or if they get money, they take the check and give it to him. It's the same thing. They're not allowed to write any checks or withdraw any money. It has to be approved by our committee. So maybe
that is
so that the Public Health and Safety has to approve, the committee has to approve any expenditures, and then it comes out of Clerk Bartley's office.
That is a city entity.
Also, the CSO does not distribute money through the city. There's a fund, there's a special fund set up that the CSO can send money to the city. It's the city's money to be used for the 200th birthday. The 175th birthday has passed. It's not for give and take to and from the city.
Direction and how that money is spent. The
No,
city
no,
uses
that's,
the money, how they-
the city has that money.
I'm just going off of the minutes that I had from the Park and Rec back in 2009, where they had stated that CSO was going to be putting funds into the account.
They did.
And there's still money in that account.
Yes, it's for the 200th birthday, which hasn't come up yet.
But the city decides how that money.
That's the city's money. It's a donation to the city by the CSO. If the CSO doesn't have the money, they don't donate it, but when they do have it, they give it to the city. It's the city's money.
Well, I'll end it with this, that the Peru Fire Department and Operation Promise is a city. The Peru Fire Department is a city entity. Liberty Fire Company is not. And I want this this needs to stay with the city and the way we've been handling it over the last 2 years. It's worked out smoothly and it's went great, and I want to continue to go forward with what Clerk Bartley put together for the ordinance and make a vote on that.
So I'd like to make a motion to accept the ordinance authorizing establishment of a restricted account for the biannual Operation Promise.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Mazak, second by Alderman Perez, to authorize establishment of a restricted account for the biannual Operation Promise event. Is there any further discussion?
Will there be a committee that is an oversight for the dispersion of that money?
Yes, we could do that.
Well, what is the committee?
Yeah.
We can't vote on something
Well-
that we don't know what we're voting on. What is the committee?
Well, what kind of committee are you speaking of? Just somebody that brings the,
Sherry, what
Checks in.
did you say with the?
A board that would provide oversight.
Friends for Peru Pool have to come to the Public Property Committee to have any expenditure approved.
well, as me being the organizer and the chief of the Peru Fire Department, I mean, I'm sure that, as him being the department head, we would be the ones coming to the, committee meeting and asking whatever funds need to be allocated or brought in.
Well, every disbursement from the city goes through the department head. Whether it's somebody that's working for that department comes to the department head, and then the department head asks for it.
Right.
That's the way it's going to have to be set up, and it's not spelled out in this ordinance at this time. The ordinance is not complete. If anybody's going to make a decision to pass this ordinance, there needs to be more verbiage in there. There's not enough there. Because in the past, Alderman President, you've come in and asked for a check for whatever the amount was, in the clerk's office just made you a check. But we can't do it that way. It has to go, you have to go to your department head, and then the department head has to come to the finance committee or the public property or whatever committee it falls under.
Yeah.
We can't just say that we're going to pass an ordinance for Operation Promise. We all support it, we all want it. There's no doubt about it. And you're putting an ultimatum on everybody: if you don't pass this ordinance, I'm done, and there's no Operation Promise. So if you really think that Operation Promise is a good thing, I think you're going about that a little wrong.
Your Honor, if the city wants to pay me to do the hours that I put into it, that's one thing. But I volunteer my time. For there to be issues and problems that we had in the past, I can't do that. I don't have the time for that, for the issues and the amount of, the problems that we came up with for what I foresee, and I'm not going to bring it up on the floor and talk about the things. But like I said, I'm not a member of Liberty. I am a Peru Fire Department. I'm a public education officer with the Peru Fire Department, and I'm not with Liberty. So that's how that plays
So
out.
if this is an expense of the Peru Fire Department, why doesn't it just go through the department head?
That's what we're asking.
This is
But-
not an expense of the Peru Fire Department. This is an expense of the Peru Fire Department would be the city brings in tax money or fees from residents, and then the fire department pays the bill. This is an expense of donations from people around town. This is not an expense of the fire department. And that's why I'm saying it's not the city program.
And, there has been confusion in the Finance Committee when these bills come up. And I'll just give you one example that's very relevant to it. In the summer of 2011, the Illinois Valley Rotters had a fundraiser for the Peru Fire Department. At the time, the City Council voted to allocate $1,000 to the Illinois Valley Rotters, just like we did a few minutes ago. And that, from my impression, the profits from that were going to the fire department. They raised $2,000. It was distributed or given to the fire department, and then without any council, or the council wasn't aware of it, there wasn't any approval, that was flipped over to Operation Promise account, that money. We had no paper trail. We had no knowledge of that money being sent. Illinois Valley Rotters may have said, we're taking, or our $2,000 is going to Operation Promise, but it was transferred to that account. So obviously that is an example of the checks and balances that we need to have with every department and every entity within the city. So that's why we had suggested or made suggestions to set up your own non-for-profit, or to set up an entity that has a board of directors, has a view of volunteers on it, like Liberty Fire Company, to help facilitate the program. That's where we came from that. And that's just an example of how things, funds can get mislaid, how confusion can exist, and given the option of placing it in another non-for-profit that has similar interests is really the best way to do it.
So with this ordinance that we have in front of us, what do you want to see on that change so we can vote on it then? What needs to be added to that?
Well, we're going to need a committee structure. You need to go to the department, like everybody, the whole city does. No.
Sure, we can do that.
No.
That's simple. We could do that
Okay,
for
well,
the next meeting.
there's going to need to be a few changes, and we'll have the attorney look at that so that we have the oversight. And then, like I said, the superintendent, the fire chief of that department will come and ask, just like Public Works, just like, okay, all right, so we have a motion, so I'm asking you to table that. We only have the original motion by Alderman Mazak. So, are you willing to do that?
We need to vote on that motion, or it needs to be withdrawn.
Withdraw it.
You'll withdraw your motion?
I'll second it.
To withdraw the motion. Just, it's dead, it's tabled. Okay. Corporate counsel, you will look into that.
Public health and safety, or what committee?
It's public health and safety.
Well,
It can't be public
it
health.
can't be public health and safety.
It's a conflict of interest.
Okay, what would you like it to be?
Well, it should be finance.
Okay, fine.
I think it should be with Liberty, so you can give it to the Finance Committee, but I can give you my opinion right now. I think it should stay with Liberty.
Okay, then we should be able to go forward with some kind of a vote then to know what we're going to do here. I mean, I'd like to voice from each council member to know if we're going to continue this or not continue it.
Hey,
I mean,
wait. Now, why is it a conflict? Because I was on Friends for Peru Pool, and I was also on the committee that approved the expenditures.
Well, you probably shouldn't have been, and you did resign from that committee. Correct?
I'm not on there now, but
That's what I said. You did resign from that committee. So now what do you?
well, if the
Okay.
Finance Committee, if it's going to go to them and they're going to turn it down, then what? I mean, I think it should go in front of the council. I think it should go in front of the council.
Let's have corporate counsel drop the ordinance a little bit different, and we'll see what the council says at that time. Please be quiet back there, Linda.
Is everyone okay with the department head for that purpose being the fire chief?
I'm just telling you that I sit through financial audits, and our auditors have told us unequivocally that we.
No, I understand, Alderman, but if I'm going to prepare an ordinance, give me some.
Well, everything in the
insight.
police department goes through the chief as the department head.
Okay, so
There's
that's what
nothing
I'm
that
asking.
comes
This
out of
would
the police
be
department.
fire chief,
Right.
and then the committee is finance? I mean, just for purpose of preparing an ordinance, whether you vote aye or nay is...
Right.
I would also like to see something in there with him having a committee other than
Right.
finance.
Right. You'll have all that.
What committee?
Well, I don't want to see a committee of one. which it sounds like right now, tonight, it's a committee of one.
I could have a committee formed by tomorrow.
Okay, well, it has to go to the department head, which is the fire chief, and he can come and ask for the disbursement.
Chief, are you fine with that?
Yeah, what we can do, I mean, we can use our committee we currently have set up with public health and safety, and then we can go from there, and I can go to finance from there. I mean, that'd make it the simplest way.
Sounds good.
Okay. Corporate counsel is going to make some changes to the ordinance. All right, we'll move on to unfinished business. Do I have a motion for the appointment of Simon Campworth Jr. to the Recreation Board?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
Been a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Nankiewicz, to appoint Simon Campworth Jr. to the Recreation Board. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to say, since my wife was involved in that, I'll be voting present.
Okay, we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Prez.
Present.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak.
Aye.
Motion approved. Now do I have a motion to appoint Steve McElhaney to the Recreation Board?
So moved, Your Honor.
I have a motion by Alderman Nankiewicz, second by Alderman Waldorf, to appoint Steve McElhaney to the Recreation Board. Is there any discussion? No, I'll have a roll.
Alderman, the appropriate thing would be abstain.
Abstain?
Yes, because present is concurrence with the majority.
Okay, thank you.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Steve McElhaney to the Recreation Board. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote. Clerk, call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ankiewicz.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Prez.
Abstain.
Radke.
Aye.
Mazak.
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Now, everybody knows, with every appointment that's been made, we've asked for letters of interest. There's always more letters of interest than there are positions available, so there's always somebody that was interested and is disappointed. In the case of the replacement for the 4th Ward Alderman, there was 11 volunteers, letters of interest that came in. You could only choose one. In the case of the appointment of the 2nd Ward Alderman, when Alderman McKishka passed away, there was 6 in with every other board that we've done. It's not an easy solution. I always ask the boards that when we have multiple letters of interest, please check with the board so that we can use these letters of interest and have as many people that want to be involved, to let them have a chance to be involved. So, but once again, there's always someone that there always has been someone that hasn't been chosen. So, thank you for the consent to the appointments. Any other unfinished business? New business. I see Mrs. Brunel back there. Jill, I have a letter from the library. I need to read that letter at this time. That, Dear Mayor Harrell, the Library Board of Trustees directed me to provide the following information to you. During our January 10, 2013 meeting, Jill Brunel officially announced she was not seeking reappointment to the Library Board at the end of her current term after serving over 9 years. Her current term ends February 28, 2013. This means the library has a current seat opening and a seat opening in February. So I'm going to, if that's the case, Jill, I'm going to need a letter. I know we've talked from you, but this is an official because the board has announced that you'll retire, and your last meeting will be February 13th. And like I said, we've always received multiple letters of interest, the last one being from Mary Torreson, and there was one spot available, and we received 3 letters of interest. Since then, one of the letters of interest, the person has dropped out due to family health complications, and now we have another opening on the board, so it will be two people that are available that have current letters of interest in, and 2 positions on the board. And Jill, I want to say thank you for your time spent on the board of, like the letter says, over 9 years. Thank you very much. Anything further under new business?
I have something. Sorry. I was going back through some papers that I had and found a letter here from Illinois Valley Animal Rescue requesting a donation. And I've been wondering how the donations are decided, and this to me seems like it would be a worthy cause. And I'll just quickly read the letter. Since 1999, Illinois Valley Animal Rescue has devoted itself to the rescue and care of abused, neglected, and unwanted animals 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, at no cost to the city, saving your municipality thousands of dollars in fees from the county's animal control. While increased demand for our services has created the need for more staff and resources, IVAR continues to be a nonprofit organization relying completely on the generosity of the public. It is our sincere hope that the City of Peru will reflect upon the many years of service that IVAR has provided and is continuing to provide, and consider making a contribution to IVAR to continue its efforts in animal welfare. From Chris Elberg. I don't know when the new, like we just today approved 2 donations. This was from November 7th. I asked Chris if she had heard any reply from us whatsoever, and she said nothing. And I know that the LP Band has recently requested a donation, and they did not hear anything back either. So I'm just wondering, can we give them a donation? When do the donations get looked at for the year and say, okay, we've done this, let's try this, let's give it to this person now? And if we get letters like this and we decide not to give a donation, I'd like to see a letter sent back to them, at least letting them know that this year they haven't been chosen.
I can only speak from a finance committee perspective. Each year, the council sets up the donation figure as we've done in last year, and all of those different organizations are placed on that. From a finance committee standpoint, we have not approved any donations that haven't been approved by the city council budget. The next budget process, again, the budget process will start very soon, and our fiscal year begins May 1st. So that would be, I'm sure, a worthy cause amongst other ones, and I'd encourage the council to place that once we place it on the budget. But the finance committee doesn't arbitrarily make any donations unless it's a budgeted approved donation.
I guess I'd like to see a list of the donations, who they go to, and the amounts that each person gets, and then who decides we're going to take this one off and put a new one on.
I guess that's the council who decides it. That's how it's done in the past.
That was what's circulated
Well-
when we set a budget this year too.
And also, I think with IVAR, and Chief Burnaby, you might be able to answer this because Clerk Bartley isn't here. I think we pay them on a dog basis, do we not?
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No. The only only thing we expend is if we do have to call the county animal control officer, then there would be a fee. But that is a very rare occurrence that we would do that, because we bring them to our facility, and then usually within a couple hours they have somebody at the police station, and then they transport them up to their facility.
Yeah.
No, I've been here since '06, and we've never been billed by IVAR. I think that was prior to that.
And it probably is. Certainly, I think we all agree that it does save money, what IVAR does from a city council's perspective. And then, for the budget process, we'd have to put a figure down on what we feel comfortable with.
And she also asked that I put a plea out for the residents to make a donation on their electric bills. She said they used to get $200 a month approximately, and it's down to $50 a month. So they really need some help.
Your Honor, I also like to, the scavenger contract, being that we're going to be saving the amount of money that we are going to since we've switched scavengers, would it be possible to consider allowing residents to put out 2 cans and then not doing away with the sticker program, but allowing them to purchase a sticker after that second can? I believe that this can be done with that savings, at least help out a great deal without having to raise rates on our residents. Could we consider doing that?
I don't think we have any thoughts of raising the rates on the residents at this point. And as far as, I'm not sure what you defined as far as putting out 2 garbage cans and still selling the sticker. I guess the question would be, why would people buy a sticker if they put out 2 garbage cans.
Anything over that. In fact, if you go
Anything over 2?
over 2, right. As a matter of fact, on my way over on 7th Street between Plum and West Street, there's a resident there with, they have 5 stickers on their sidewalk there. They have garbage pickup tomorrow. And I just think we should be able to offer to our residents at least 2 cans, because right now they're having to only put out 1 and have to purchase stickers. What's the gallon limit that we have now? Is it 30? 45? I think they should be allowed 2 45 cans, and then if they have to get extra bags or whatever, or extra garbage, then they have to purchase a sticker. But I think we should offer that to us.
The surrounding communities that are picking up two cans are paying quite a bit more than what we're paying. And then
That'd be a
No, it wouldn't
rebid
be a
on
rebid. No,
just double the capacity?
No, it wouldn't. It would, it's because of that sticker program. I spoke with one of the scavengers, in fact, the service that got it, and he said that it wouldn't be a rebid, it would just be the city having to, there wouldn't be as many sticker purchases through the city, so we'd be the ones, having to take that. But I figured since we're having such a savings, we should be able to do that.
I think if a man put out 5 stickered items, you put a second barrel out, it's just gonna be 4 stickered items, right?
Well, we're having people put out 2 and then extra garbage, so then you're having to purchase those stickers.
Rather see
plus
them
the extra cans.
recycle.
It's
The greater majority of the people do 1 garbage can, and that's what they're comfortable paying for. That's the majority, and what we've tried to do is to keep the price as low as possible, particularly for those on fixed incomes and senior citizens who, some have less than a garbage can. They have, sometimes they put out a small bag at the curbside, so we didn't want to charge them more for a service that somebody may be putting 4 or 5 bags out for.
That's right, and I agree. I think we should keep our rates exactly where they are, but allow them to put out the 2 cans. In fact, we have one of the residents here this evening that puts out, I think he's putting out an extra, $15 a month in garbage stickers. So it's just a recommendation, just suggestions to the council whether we do it or not. I just thought we'd throw it out there.
Okay, anything else under new business? Petitions, communications.
We have a letter from WBGL Radio requesting permission to hold a backyard bounce event. Should be at Centennial Park on Monday, June 24th from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. with a rain date of July 1st. They did this event last year also.
Is that Centennial Park or Baker Lake?
It's at Centennial Park.
It says Baker Lake.
It says Baker Lake.
Oh, Centennial, okay.
Your Honor, before we move forward, I had to click my computer back on, but I still had something underneath new business. If I could, can I go back to that?
Sure.
From the Second Ward, we had our meeting on Saturday, and King Engineering had came in, which they're the engineer that represents the businesses north on Venture Drive there. And they had 3 or 4 plans for us to look at and review, and I gave that to the Public Works Committee this evening. And with further discussion there that we had on Saturday, the Second Ward Alderman, being that that location is in the Second Ward, until we were able to have the committee review that and have the engineers look at a possible plan that may work, we would like to see Venture Drive go back to its original 4-way stop until we can do something. As I said, we had businesses here on Saturday also, which, they're losing big money. And, according to their numbers that they're losing, it's due to that intersection change. So we would like to see that go back. And, we had a successful holiday, and it worked through then. But I think now that the holiday season is over, we're not going to see that back up there. And I think we can get something done before then, before the next holiday season comes in. But if we could do that, I think that we shouldn't be putting an extra burden on the business partners up there and switch that back to that 4-way. Would we consider doing that?
I doubt it. That would take a motion on the floor and a council vote once again, and the council's vote was 6-2 the last time to leave it the way it is. It needs to go through the Public Works, so I would...
Right. And I understand that, but
I would say no.
The conversation was we were going to wait until after the holidays, and then...
No, what I said after the vote was 6-2. I said, we're done with that.
Right. And that's where we came up with that's why I brought it up under new business, because there are new plans that we've never seen before. So until something gets done, that's why I was asking for a recommendation that we take that back to its 4-way.
I haven't seen the plans, but Mike Perry, what have we looked at? How many different plans was there? A dozen or?
We just got the plans tonight. He just
Okay.
gave them to Public Works tonight, so we haven't had a chance to look at them at all.
Yeah, Jim Clenard was there too, so I don't know if he had a chance to show you.
What exactly is the element that the business owners, from their point, would believe would increase traffic to their place? What's the defining point in this plan, the new plan?
The northbound traffic being shut off to the mall, or from the mall, and going north. Traffic that is coming east on 38th Street is not allowed to turn north, and actually Dairy Queen is the most impacted. Traffic that's not able to go across or, make that left-hand turn, having that shut down and closed is hurting the businesses substantially.
Okay, Public Works Committee will look at it. I really don't understand. Our hotel receipts are up. The other restaurants in that area, for the most part, are fine. The complex that has the Hobby Lobby and the sporting store, they're fine.
Have you talked to Todd from Dairy Queen?
No, I have not.
He's not fine. He's actually
Well,
doing pretty poorly.
There's, changing a stop sign isn't going to bring people back in. I don't know. Okay, anything else under
On that,
back on the petitions?
Yeah, on that petition, I'll make a motion that we grant it at Centennial Park as long as it's cleared with the chief.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Mankiewicz, second by Alderman Waldorf, to receive the communication from Cheryl Maxwell of WBGL Radio requesting permission to hold a backyard bounce event at Centennial Park on Monday, June 24th from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. with a rain date of July 1st. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. Okay, any other petition communications? Public comment. Do we have any public comment at this time? No public comment? Okay, I'm not aware of any need for a closed session tonight. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
I have a motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Radke for adjournment. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Jim?